Had about 4 ear infections, and I didn't want to put him on antibiotics. And ever since I've been bringing him to Dr. Turner, he hasn't had any. And slowly I'm finding out the benefits of bringing my kids to the chiropractor.
Antibiotics are supposed to be given as a last resort, not as a first thought. As a matter of fact, then there is supposed to be sensitivity testing to be specific as to the antibiotic of choice.
If every child who had an ear infection, we stuck a needle in his ear and we did a blood test and we waited 48 hours to see what would happen, we would use antibiotics a lot less. But from a practical point of view, that's a difficult decision, and the best of all things is usually to use the antibiotic first. It's the most innocuous, least expensive, and safest way of approaching the problem.
But what we forgot about is that the body has an innate healing ability to do that anyway. For example, that's why the body gets a fever. So when the temperature in the body goes up a few degrees, that'll kill off the bacteria and virus. Chiropractic is designed to build the resistance of the body to keep it healthy as possible so that when you do come in contact with bacteria or virus, it has the ability to fight it off.
Well, the ear infection is quite interesting because it is, of course, a contained infection, a bacterial infection within the inner ear, within the skull. There is no connection between that infection and the rest of the body. And the idea that you can improve the body's immune system with adjustment has, again, never been shown.
My understanding is that there is some evidence that manipulation may have an effect upon the immune system, showing that there is a connection between the nervous system and the various organ systems in the body.
There's one system that coordinates and controls the remaining 8 systems, and that's the nervous system. So the immune system is under the direct translation, direction, and communication of an intact nervous system. We've put together the first scientific model that can stand up to scientific scrutiny, that subluxations separate us from wholeness, separate the other 8 systems, discoordinate them, so a subluxation-free spine is necessary for full potential.
With my particular type of occupation, there are great physical and emotional demands. As I mentioned before, I'm with a hostage rescue unit. The chiropractic theory, I believe, is to bring a person to their peak, the peak of their physical state and the peak of their emotional state for their own well-being. And how this ties into my work is that I must be at my physical peak and my mental peak at all times. And chiropractic helps me in doing this.
So people who come to a chiropractor, it's not a passive thing that you do to have somebody else work on you so that you can get better and be okay. It's a proactive choice that you make so that you can be the best you can be and be the healthiest you can be and live your life to your full potential.
The chiropractor talks a great deal about preventative adjustment. They use adjustment in patients who do not have pain, in the belief that somehow this will improve the body's function, help it ward off disease, improve the neural flow throughout the body. There's absolutely no evidence that this is of any value.
70% of all medical therapies have never been evaluated, but it's in use. And I think it's rather sad to see the doctors, medical doctors, keep on claiming that there's not much evidence for what the chiropractors do. There's a huge amount of evidence for it. It's just the opposite. And I think we should be skeptical of what medical doctors often tell us about modern medicine.
If a patient chooses to go to a chiropractor and they enter into a course of treatment and the patient gets well, this should not be discounted. The medical profession and chiropractors and all other forms of healthcare practitioners should work together for the benefit of the patient.
The last 2 decades have produced explosive change and growth for the chiropractic profession, in education, in research, and in practice. It is clear that only scientific studies and cooperative research can resolve any chiropractic conflicts in the emergence of a more comprehensive healthcare system.